All right, we got back on the field yesterday for a little bit more extended work because of the weekend on Boston College. We have a tremendous challenge ahead of us. Boston College is coming off a fantastic performance against Miami, really played well in all three phases of the game. They're a veteran football team, very physical, do a really good job. In the return game, offensively, they obviously have AJ Dillon that's been pretty prolific through his first couple years of collegiate play, mixed in with a quarterback playing at a high level, and a physical defense that plays tough at the line of scrimmage and is pretty darn good in the back end as well. So a tremendous challenge for us. We've got about a half a day's work in yesterday in terms of practice time on the field. Kids are off today, and we'll be back at it tomorrow.
From a defensive standpoint, what do you get specifically out of a Georgia Tech film when you're done playing them, or do you concentrate primarily offensively, or offense working against defense, or special teams, or what can you glean from a film that's primarily option stuff?
Not much. I mean, you can watch technique and effort and execution and those sorts of things, but I mean, to kind of put it in perspective, I don't know that any offense in the league, when they're playing other ACC teams, breaks down the Georgia Tech film because it's just so different. So the defenses line up so much different. It's just there's little or no correlation between what you see carrying over. So it's a little bit the same for your defense. It's a one-time game that you've got to get lined up and go play in a different manner, and then get back to playing, a different style of ball this week.
Punt return, the fumbles, I think you guys put it down at least 3 times this year. You stress the importance of ball security. What have you seen that's been kind of the issue? Just unique things each time, or, I mean, just something that you guys aren't sort of getting? I mean, what do you kind of take from that?
Well, we keep shuffling guys back there because we have not been good. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. I mean, we have not been good, and we haven't been comfortable with the way that whoever's been back there has handled it. Losing CJ hurts us, obviously, but there's nothing we can do about that. We've got to continue to find somebody back there that can be consistent enough to field the football, and that's kind of what we talked about starting the year. Was the very first thing is, can we communicate to the other people on the field that are blocking for us, and can we take care of the football? And we've been fortunate up to last week that it hadn't hurt us, and it finally did. And we continue to move guys through that spot. It's not like we haven't tried to make changes, and we'll continue to do the same thing.
You spoke after the game about how kind of surprised you were that the valve shut off offensively, execution-wise. When you go back and watch film, does it come into clear focus why it was so black and white with execution there?
Sure. I mean, you can go back and pinpoint the plays. I mean, it's just and the one thing that I said after the game that I think is still true is I don't think it's just one position group. I just think we're not talented enough to overcome those types of execution errors. But you look at a drop pass, you look at a missed block, you look at a drop snap, you look at a poor conversion on third down, and the next thing you know, the game's over. And you look at the first 3 possessions, and those things did not happen. And we just it's got to be a huge point of emphasis for us to continue to maintain that discipline and that focus, to give ourselves a chance to execute time in and time out. And the other team's going to make plays. I mean, it's not like they're being coached and have athletes too, but you've got to do everything you can to put yourself in a position and execute more consistently.
Do you have any updates on injuries for Dylan Rivers or Jared Hewitt?
I think it'll all be day by day with those two guys. I don't have any real update. We'll have a meeting today at 5 o'clock where we'll kind of get the latest on those guys. But if I was filling out a report, I'd say it's day to day right now. We're trying to get them back.
Coach, what strikes you about AJ Dillon, and especially after the way he played on Friday against Miami?
His size combined with his quickness. He seemed, for a big guy, he's got some really elusive quickness. He's got good vision, and has been a very productive player since he's been there, and just one of the better players in the country, I think.
Have you been on or coached a team that has been sort of up and down from week to week like this? And is there anything that you can draw from any previous season to help get through this?
Well, I've certainly been on been a part of teams that were very, very good, and I've been a part of teams that won all their games. I've been a part of teams that have struggled. This team is unique, as they all are. Certainly you can draw from experiences of when you have been a part of squads that haven't been as productive as you want them to be, or maybe are being as productive as they can be. What the ceiling is for any individual team is really hard to figure out, but it's up to us as coaches to continue to get the guys in positions to have success and encourage them to continue to move forward, and that's happening, and I feel good about that. So I guess in short, Andy, yeah, you can always draw back on past experiences. Each team's fairly unique, but handling the ups and downs, and when you do struggle with a young group, you're trying to get them propped back up and ready to go the next week. And there's still a lot of football to be played, and we've got some tremendous challenges in front of us.
You guys have talked a lot about preparation, especially with this team. Did you get a sense this week, earlier season, Old Dominion, you said you had a bad week. Did you guys have a good bye week? Did you guys see something coming? How have practices been predictive sort of the results so far in recent weeks?
Well, I think it's an ongoing process of learning how to prepare. We certainly weren't lifeless at practice. It was, I just think it's an ongoing lesson, I was, it's easy to say we didn't practice well if you lose. But that's disingenuous, and the players understand that too. Like, they can see through that. The key is immediate feedback as you're going through the week, to give yourself an opportunity to have success. And it does not mean that you're going to have success. We do all of this without the guarantee of success. We try and put all this work in. That, to me, that's what a true competitor will do. A true competitor will spend the time and have the discipline to try and prepare to give themselves the best chance, and knowing that it doesn't guarantee it. But if we don't do those things, then we have no chance. We're not giving ourselves an opportunity. And over the last year, I've seen this team make huge strides. I'm talking about from when we came back from winter break. It was we had a long way to go, and we still do. But I think staying the course and continuing to understand and try and get those points across is what we've got to focus on.
Questions for Coach?
When you have back-to-back home losses of 21-plus points, is that another thing that kind of speaks to youth of a team and not being able to maybe properly use a home field advantage, or getting too high for a game, or not, it just opponents notwithstanding, obviously Notre Dame being one of the best in the country, Georgia Tech being so unique, clearly those factor in, but I didn't know if that's just another example of how youth maybe speaks to them not being completely ready for the moment.
Well, I hope that the location of the game doesn't affect our performance. But we have, at times at least this year, played with our on the road. Maybe have been a little more productive at times, and it's something we talk about. I can tell you that much. Like, it's not a factor that we haven't acknowledged. That maybe there are a few more distractions with playing at home and family and tickets and all those sorts of things. I know this. Our kids desperately do want to play well here, and they do want to perform, and we do understand how unique and how honored we are to get to play in such a cool venue. And it's something that we have in the last couple of years played fairly well, I would say, at home, and something we want to get back to. So I think I answered that like with a yes, a maybe, and a no, all in one answer. But it's something we've talked about a little bit, like trying to get that back and handle it and play a little better.
Coach, we're seeing teams like UVA and Syracuse now ranked. How would you characterize how competitive the ACC is compared to your previous seasons?
Well, I would say it's similarly competitive as it's been at my short time here. The names may have changed. Maybe some other teams are having better seasons than they had the last couple of years, and maybe there's a couple teams that are not having as good a years as they've had the last couple of years. But it's going to be competitive every single year. There's probably, I think everybody would agree, one team out there that's probably head and shoulders above everybody else in the league, and then everybody else is fighting and scratching and clawing to try and to squeeze out a win every week. So they're fantastic athletes in this league. There's great coaches. There's been a commitment to football over the last several years before I got here in the ACC, in my opinion, to elevate the level of play. That commitment by administrators and coaching staffs.
Anybody else for Coach? All right. Thanks, everybody. Back
Good.
at 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Thanks.